So we have got sound now. We have got sound now. So yeah. So Robbie's in the car. Flex is next to him. Alexis Sanchez to Manchester United to cut all through that first 30 seconds. My big L there, and hopefully we're not going to take an L from City on Sanchez. What I said to Robbie and what I'll say again is, why and what does he think is happening with that Alexis Sanchez, and why would Arsenal want to sell to Manchester United?
Okay, well, sorry, so dark in here. I'm sat in my car, pulled over in a little service station. I just dropped my wife off to the airport, so I'm sorry about that. But the reason being, it could happen. I don't think it will happen, but it could happen. Is all about the money. I mean, it's about the money. You know, basically Arsenal, they know they're going to lose Alexis Sanchez. He wants to leave. He's only got a few months left on his contract, so obviously the powers that be are like, you know, we may as well cash in on Alexis Sanchez. If Manchester United are going to come in and offer big money, we'll take the money and try and get somebody else. So I think it literally boils down to that. I mean, I personally think that he's still going to go to Manchester City. I know some people that's quite close to it, and they told me from the summer that he's got his heart set on going to Manchester City and playing for Pep Guardiola. But I suppose it makes sense for Manchester United. Listen, he's a world-class player. It's always amazing how they become world-class to Man United once they're available. Right? Because Flex has told me before he ain't all that and things like that. But listen, he's a world...
He's lying.
But he's a world-class player. He's an absolute world-class player. So, listen, it makes sense for Manchester United to try and get him as well. I don't blame them if I was in their situation. The people that I'm blaming, I did a video on it this morning, and I was pretty angry about it. And I know that all Arsenal fans are very angry. The people that they're blaming is the manager and the board to let this situation happen, that you've got Manchester City and Man United bidding for your best player.
I'll tell you what, Robbie,
down to money.
That's a good point. And there's a lot of people in the live comments saying that you're hiding in a cave because he's coming to United, but he isn't. He's definitely in his car. But you know what I tweeted earlier is that you're right. Alexis Sanchez is a top class player. If United get him, brilliant. If City get him, we'll have to take the L. It's worth the risk. You know, there is no banter from City fans because they haven't got any. But from an Arsenal point of view, and I don't have any sympathy for Arsenal, but I like you, Robbie, it is ridiculously idiotic. I flip it the other United way. It is ridiculous. And it's not just Sanchez, it's Ozil as well. To be in that situation, it must be infuriating. Because I remember a time, and maybe you still even think it is that time, that, you know, maybe for top four, certainly, United and Arsenal, we used to be at loggerheads. And you lost Van Persie to us, and whether we get Sanchez or not, I mean, that's not a good situation for the club when they're losing players like that. You know, it must be quite embarrassing, really, that you've got two clubs fighting for your best player and really you're powerless to do anything about it.
It's very embarrassing. Very embarrassing. Very humiliating. And, you know, there's a lot of very, very angry Arsenal fans around at the moment. When inevitably it goes through, it's either gonna, it may not happen, you know what, it may not happen January, because if the price is not right, I think Arsenal will say to themselves, well, we'll just hang on to him until the summer, and hopefully he can get us into the Champions League. But I just get the feeling now that there's two clubs in, if it had only been City, maybe they might just you know, but now that there's two clubs in for him, I think he will go in January. Now, you know, it's just very humiliating for Arsenal that, you know, the fans for Arsenal, that the people with the powers have allowed this situation to happen. And the reason why it's happened, basically, is because 18 months ago, when they should have sat down with Alexis Sanchez and negotiated a new contract and thrown loads of money at him, they didn't do that. They left it until he had like a year left on his contract. Then they turned around and they were offering him huge money, but money that's unprecedented for Arsenal. They were offering Alexis Sanchez up to £300,000 a week, which is even more than he'll get probably at Man United or Man City. But by that time, you know, the guy's looking on it and he's saying to himself, I'm 29, I want to win things. This is my last big move. I've given my all for Arsenal. I want to move on to Manchester City. Pep Guardiola's there. Let's face it, that's who everybody, all the players at the moment want to play for Pep Guardiola. It's a bit like when Arsene Wenger first came in at Arsenal. Lots of players wanted to play for Wenger. It's changed now. They all want to play for Pep Guardiola. They've seen what Guardiola's done at City, and that's where they want to go. And to be honest, even though United have come in, I'd be very surprised, as I said, if he went to United, because he wants to play for Guardiola. And I think, you know, you look at Manchester City, and it looks like there's a plan there. It looks like Guardiola's going to be there for a while. There's still a bit of uncertainty at Man United with Mourinho. You know what I mean? You still don't know whether he'll even be there next season. He probably will.
He'll be there next season.
No, you know what? You don't know, do you? You don't know, because he's such a character that who knows what could happen with him? You don't know.
Go on, Flex.
I mean,
give us your thoughts.
A couple of weeks ago, sorry, just to butt in there. A couple of weeks ago, I heard a lot of your fans on your channel saying that, you know, they wouldn't mind seeing him gone. So, you know, whereas Guardiola, we know that they're going to win the league. We know that he's going to be there for a couple of seasons. So if you're a player and you know that they're going to be challenging, if you're a player, you're going to want to go to City.
It's a good point. And Matthew McFadden's got a question for you, Robbie, but I've got to bring Flex in. Otherwise, he's going to be a bit like Arsenal in a title race, a spare part. What's your thoughts on this, Flex?
We're all spare parts, mate.
We are. You're right, we are. And I do share your pain with Sanchez, because we've got the same situation with Fellaini. But we'll move on from that. You can have him if you want. You can have him. But Flex, I mean,
do you know what?
Go on, give us your thoughts on it.
At the beginning of this whole thing, I mean, it's weird because my whole attention, if I'm honest, has been on the Ozil thing. You know, we've seen each other recently, Rob, and we've been talking about the Ozil thing, and this was not in any of our minds. You know, this whole
Ozil
Sanchez
potentially thing. Better for United than Sanchez in what we need as well.
Exactly. So it is a bit of a weird one, but I think it's similar to Jose's comments today. What my thoughts are, which is that sometimes players become available that you can't pass up the opportunity to try and get, and I think that's the situation with Sanchez. Now, if I'm honest, I think his heart's set in City. Like, he wanted to go to City in the summer. It was all but done. It's only because Arsenal didn't get Lamar in the last minute and they cocked it up as usual, as Arsenal do, not organised, not prepared for it, that it fell through. So I can't see him all of a sudden just thinking, actually, I'll go to United. Now, yes, money's a big part of it. I get that. And, you know, we're capable of giving him, you know, that 300, that 320, whatever you want to call it. Yes, but I think it's his last move. What is he, 29? It's his last big move. Yeah. And I think he's going to want, you know, that attractive football, that instant success. And yes, Pep Guardiola did sell him. I know people were saying to me, yeah, but Pep sold him. But you can see the love is still there between them two. And Pep definitely feels as if he's got unfinished business with him. He's always bigged him up and even spoke about how he regretted even selling Sanchez at the time. He just couldn't fit him in a team. So there's a bit of unfinished business there. And at the beginning, I was like, yes, right, we're in for Sanchez. That's great. Then I was like, well, hang on a minute. He's been wanting to go to City for a long time. I can't see him just changing. Then I was actually put in the bid, and then it's kind of gathering momentum. Then you see Jose in his conference today. I thought he was really good the way he handled it, because there's definitely... Because at the beginning, I thought, I bet we haven't even gone for him. I bet that's just nonsense. But then,
well, Mourinho could have just killed it dead. I mean,
exactly,
you know,
but he didn't.
You kill it dead. If you know you're not getting him, you kill it dead.
Arsene Wenger said today already, when they asked him in his press conference, which was from this morning, he didn't deny it. So
yeah.
It's definitely happening, isn't it? Yeah.
I can tell you 100% that Arsenal, that they have inquired Man United about, you know, if they put 25 million, would he be available? Right, and for Arsenal, it makes sense to try and spark a little bidding war, you know what I mean, because it will drive the price up. Because if it's only City that's interested in him, then, you know, they know that he'll just walk away either for nothing at the end of the season, or City will give about, because City have been saying they'll pay a maximum of 20 million.
Yeah,
exactly. But, I mean, I think, you know what, the other interesting thing about this, and, you know, I'm not trying to equalise up things there, because you are right, you know, it's horrible for me to come on a Man United channel and admit,
respect.
But we are a shambles at the moment when it comes to our transfer dealings, and that's for us on Arsenal fans to, you know, be having a go at our boards. But I think it also shows that, they ain't just noisy neighbours no more. These guys, they're a more attractive proposition now than Man United. I think once upon a time he would have been straight at United. Now these players are looking at it and thinking, well, actually, I'd rather go and play for Pep Guardiola and Man City. It's a more exciting prospect. So things are changing in the football world. It's not just the money that they've got now, it's what they're doing, City. The attractive football, for instance, that they're playing in comparison to, say, Manchester United's football that is not as attractive. The Mourinho way of playing football, footballers are looking on it, as I said, a bit like when Wenger first came to Arsenal, in that not only do I want to, go to Arsenal, they're a big club, but the style of football and everything, I want to be part of that. And I think, for United as well, it's, and for United fans, not just Arsenal fans, it should be a little bit worrying. City are now a big player. We have to admit it.
I'll tell you what, though, Robbie. Well, I'll come back at that just quickly, Flex.
No.
Is that he's right? I think he's right, and I want to get your opinion on that. But today Pep Guardiola won an unprecedented 4 Manager of the Month awards in a row, and I think he should dedicate that to the open checkbook that's allowed that to happen. Because I guarantee you, if you gave Mourinho or Wenger what he's got, then
Hold on.
Oh no, I'm firm on this. He's got an open checkbook that nobody has got, and that is giving him an unwritten. He has bought that. What I was going to say is, in fairness to Arsenal, which I'm not normally fair, is that Arsenal have a history, Manchester United have a history, and you're right. Your best player is turning his back on a club that's is far bigger than Manchester City, and he's potentially snubbing a club that's far bigger than Manchester City and Manchester United to go to Man City, because he's got a Premier League title in his pocket if he goes, and they are playing better football, and it's the easy option. I see a positive in that. I see a positive that if he picks Manchester United over Manchester City, we are the underdogs. We definitely are, and he will be picking us based on probably potentially a better project, but because we're Manchester United. So you're right. It's a bit like Coutinho going to Barcelona. Title straight in the bag if he goes to Man City. So if he's a mercenary, he'll go to City.
Mark. Come on, man. I'll get the violins out in a minute. What are you trying to say?
Don't need a violin.
Broke or something? Yeah, Man United broke. I mean, flipping out.
No, they just won't spend the bloody money. We're like you. We won't spend it.
What are you talking? How much money have you spent over the last couple of seasons? You spent more than City.
No, we haven't.
I mean, listen.
Mythbuster.
The only difference I say with City's spending to Manchester United spending is that City, basically, if you look how they've been spending their money over the last few seasons, basically, if they buy something and it don't work, they just bin it and go again. Right?
Three keepers.
For instance, with a goalkeeper situation, they've just said, "Hey, no good, bin."
Yeah.
No other team, even United, can afford to do that. I think.
But that's the open checkbook that we're talking about. The ability to go and do that.
But to moan about spending, come on, the amount of money
I'm sticking by it.
At the start of you went into the start of this season, Man United, confident, very, very confident that you were going to win the league because of the squad that you had and the players that you bought. And because it's going wrong now, Mourinho's moaning about money. I don't think he's got any excuses on that side. I personally think if Pep Guardiola was managing Man United, you would be top of the league as well.
No way.
The players that you've got, you would be.
No. He wouldn't take the project. He would not take the project. There's no open checkbook. He'd be like, no.
Manchester City are playing Delph and Mangala at the back, right? And they still ain't lost the game. It's the way in which the guy's got the team playing. He's the best manager at the moment. We have to admit it.
Mark,
Robbie, I tell you what, the anti-Mourinho crowd are loving you tonight, but I've got to bring Flex in. Go, Flex, go.
Do you know what? Yeah, I mean, me and you sometimes disagree on this because I know you say Guardiola's a fraud, and the last thing I want to do is, my pride and that is be on the Man United channel, support Man United, be a massive Man United fan, and give huge props to Man City. It's the last thing I want to do, but I know it is undecided. Some people say he's a fraud, but I have to admit, like I said, look at. I'll just take these two examples as an example. Yeah, these two players. If you look at Sane and Sterling, I think if Pep's got Martial and Rashford, I think they progress a bit quicker. I do.
Yeah, you are.
And I did say that. in my review of one of the games when I think it was when we drew against Southampton, when that was just my fight. I was just lost my head. But I do think
Sterling's a great example.
Don't get me wrong, Guardiola, I do believe he's got, like you said, with the free keepers, as soon as he wants something, he gets it. If it's not the right thing, he goes again. He goes again. He's got that flexibility. But I do think at City, he's actually put to bed a few of the stories where, oh, he's at Barcelona, he's got the best players in the world. Oh, he's at Bayern Munich, he's got the best players in the world. Well, he's come to City when, let's face it, they had a lot of average players in their team. And he has, look what he's doing. Look what he's doing. Yes, it's a bit of a freak season in terms of they're scoring the last minute goals and all that, etc. But, you know, look what he's doing. So I'm not giving him too much praise, but even I have to say,
listen.
He's making some of their average players a lot better. I have to admit.
Listen, I know you guys are Man United, right? And, you know, I don't know, I suppose I'll be saying the same if Pochettino had been unbeaten so far as well. But you have to admit, he's not a fraud. The guy is doing
still think
at
he
the
is.
moment. You know what I mean? They haven't lost.
You're not having it, are you, Mark? You just think he's a fraud.
Mark, tell me why he's a fraud. I don't get it.
I'll do it very quickly for you. I'll do it really quickly. Every place he's been to, he's had an open checkbook. Every place he's been to,
is Mourinho.
No.
Mourinho.
He's in it. No. Look, I did a video August the 31st. I said Mourinho's got a ready-made excuse if we fail because they didn't support him and get a winger in. We've got no winger. They wouldn't pay 5 million more for Pulisic. But the big thing, the big thing with Pep, I'll tell you now, Robbie, this is where it ends, right? The big thing with Pep and Mourinho is Mourinho inherited Fellaini. Pep inherited De Bruyne, Sterling, Aguero, Silva, Company, and a team that had won the title in the last 2 years. They didn't start on 11 playing field at all. The only top-class player Mourinho inherited was David De Gea. That was it. Pep has started from a far higher position than Mourinho has, and he spent more money. And your comment was spot on. He will just rotate. They'll rotate the players.
He inherited Martial.
He was a kid.
You don't rate Martial, yeah?
No, I love Martial. He's my favourite player.
So what? He inherited him. He inherited Juan Mata, didn't? He's a good player, isn't he?
He's not De Bruyne. He's not Silva. He's not De Bruyne.
He's a top player, isn't he?
Look, right? Robbie.
He inherited loads of top players.
I'm loving your guest spot as a Man City fan, but let's talk Arsenal.
Listen, Mark. I would like to see City look because you know at the moment they're closing in on the last thing we've got to hold on to as Arsenal fans, which is that unbeaten record, and they're looking like they're going to blow that away as well.
I'm supporting Liverpool at the weekend.
Yeah, same.
I hate Liverpool.
Listen, I only have to be honest, right? That the guy, if I was a footballer right now, I wouldn't want to play if I had the choice of Mourinho and boring football and parking the bus every week, or going to play for a guy that is exciting football. They go, you know, attacking football, right? I would want to play for Pep Guardiola, and I think that goes for most of the footballers out there. We have to be honest, and we have to admit it. The guy at the moment, he is the best around, and I don't think he's a fraud. He's not a fraud. You are right that, you know, everywhere he's gone, he's got the money, but it's the same thing for Mourinho. Mourinho's always had the money as well everywhere he's gone. So, you know, I don't think you can say he's a fraud. He's a top manager, and on this season, I think last season everybody was saying, you know, he ain't done it. He's come this season with a vengeance, and some of the players that he's got playing, you know, these were the same players last year that everybody was slating, like Raheem Sterling. You know, and I just think that if he had the Man United team, and he had Rashford, and he had Lukaku, Pogba,
and Fellaini,
all those guys. Even Fellaini, he probably have the guy playing better.
Bro, let me ask you this, yeah? Let me ask you this. If Pep was at Arsenal now, with the current board that you've got, would it improve your situation?
He wouldn't go there. He'd bottle it. He'd go, no. There's no open checkbook.
If Pep Guardiola, and incidentally, right, Pep Guardiola, what the rumours are, is that was the first club he wanted to go to was Arsenal.
There were talks about that.
And you know, and that's another thing that angers Arsenal fans, because Wenger basically didn't want to step aside for him. But if Pep Guardiola was at Arsenal right now, right, I'm not saying that we'd be top of the league, but I'm saying that we wouldn't be where we are. We'd be knocking on the door.
Knocking on
because
fourth.
I look at as I say, right, I look at our defence and I look at City's defence at the moment, yeah? And I'm like, well, hold on a minute. We've got Koscielny, he's an international in there. We've got Monreal international, Bellerin international. We've got, you know, and these guys, the way in which we're defending, then I look at Pep Guardiola's defence, Mangala, who everybody was slating last year, Fabian Delph, who's not even a left back, he's just standing in because they've got injuries, right? And I look how they're playing, and I'm like, nah, this guy, he's got these players motivated, right? They know that every time they go out on that pitch, if they don't put it in, they won't play. He's not scared to make big decisions. You've seen him leave out guys like Aguero. You know, I'm telling you, for me, at the moment, he is the best out there. As I said, I know you guys are Man United channel. I get it. I get why you don't really want to big it up too much, but I'm not a United channel. I have to be honest. The guy at the moment, he's the best out there, and that's why Alexis wants to go. Alexis wants to go there because he knows that if he goes there, basically, before he finishes his career, he's going to win the title, and he's got a great shot at winning the Champions League as well.
So throw this spanner in the works, yeah?
If you add on top of that the fact that, you know, agree what you say, the money and all that, they'll be able to keep strengthening.
If he, so let's play devil's advocate here, yeah? Let's say he ends up at United, yeah? Let's say Alexis somehow, don't know how, let's say he ends up at United. Are you saying that if he goes to United, it is purely because we offered more money than City then? That's
the only reason I could see him going to United now.
Slavery ended 100 years ago. Come on. He's free in May. He goes where he wants. If he goes to United, he comes to United.
It'd be a money thing. But I know, as I said, that people that I know closer have said he's got his heart set on going to Manchester City. And as I said, it's not, he could get more money staying at Arsenal. Arsenal are offering him 300 grand a week.
But that shows what he thinks of Arsenal, though, isn't it? That shows that he's not willing to stay there. Yeah.
Exactly. He wants to go and win things. That's basically what he wants to do. I'm not going to deny that. He wants to go and win trophies, and he looks on it and he said, I've got a better, you know, these guys are rich already. You know what I mean? So he's like, I've got a better chance of doing that at Man City. I've played under Pep Guardiola before. There's a lot of turmoil at Arsenal. That's obvious for players to see and, you know, and people to see. He wants to go to the club that's on the up. That, at the moment, is Manchester City. You know what I mean? Look at how they're playing.
What about this for a theory, Robbie? Look, Arsenal, you massively, you know, took a big, massive L when we took Robin Van Persie and he came back and had the Guard of Honour. I'm trying to think through my mind, and you're an Arsenal fan. I'm trying to think why Arsenal would allow him to go to United, and I have a theory here. Obviously, Malcolm is a player that's available from Bordeaux this January. United have been linked to him. Arsenal very strongly linked to him. You know, Mkhitaryan's been mentioned. Is that a theory? But what about the scenario where Arsenal are like, look, you can have Sanchez if you give us a free run at Malcolm, and United are like, if we don't get Sanchez, we're going to go for Malcolm, and he's probably going to pick us over you. Do you think what's in it? Do you think there is that maybe theory there? Do you think you'd like Mkhitaryan? You know, Wenger, very surprised today. I mean, you've really regressed that he's like, you know, he could have shut that down today in relation to United. He didn't. You know, he seemed very defeated, submissive. I don't really listen to Wenger as much as he used to.
Yeah, but Mark, I'm saying he's not going to shut it down because right now you've got a player that in 4 months' time, they've tried everything they can to persuade him to stay. He said he wants to go, yeah? In 4 months' time, that's how you have to look on it. And when the January transfer window closes, the season finishes in May. It's not even like, well, people will say, well, we may as well keep him till the end of the season. Yeah. Like the end of the season's a whole year. It's 4 months, right? In 4 months' time, he walks away for zero. So I think our Arsenal calculating it is this. We're not going to let him go for 20 million because, you know what, we could keep him. Even though a lot of people have been saying he's been off his game, which he has been a bit off his game this season, he's still our top scorer, right? So they're looking at it and thinking, well, if it's 20 million, we'll keep him till the end of the season, and hopefully he can get us into the Champions League. He'll walk away, and then we can get, you know, with the money that we've got to get in the Champions League and everything else, and the fact that we're in the Champions League, we can attract better players to the club. Or if we are going to make him leave, we want as much money. It's got to be, can't be 20 million. It has to be in the region of 30 million plus. And we'll let him go, and then we'll try and reinvest that and get somebody else in. So, you know, if in that case, if sorry, can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
So he's looking at it and saying, if in that case, you know, he will, you know, go. We want the maximum amount of money for him, and if we can spark a bidding war, this is my theory on it. If we can spark a bidding war where Man United come into it, we can turn around to City and say, well, if you want him now, we want 35, and it pushes the price up. So,
but with City saying,
for Arsenal, they know they're not going to be able to hang on to him now, because they have done everything they can, although they left it too late. But they've done everything they can. They offered him £300,000 a week. The guy wants to go, so they got to cash in. It's simple.
I think when you highlighted it, yeah, how bad the situation is, I think that's the nail on the head there. Because realistically, what we're forgetting, or a lot of people are talking about this are actually forgetting, is that Sanchez is the one who holds all the power. Sanchez is the one who holds all the power. So it's all good saying we want a bidding war between Man United and Man City, but if Man City are saying they're only willing to go to 20 million, and they don't want to go any higher, but we offer 35, and Sanchez is like, but I don't want to go there. I'll stay here till the summer, then I'll go for free.
Well, exactly, and you've got to remember as well, what comes into play in this is signing on fees as well. So, you know, Sanchez, what I heard even before January is that Sanchez is quite cool on it. He's like, you know what, I don't mind staying until the end of the season.
He's got no World Cup. It's not like he has to play amazingly well.
If he goes at the end of the season, he gets a massive signing on fee, because it's even more attractive to the club that takes him, because they don't have to pay a transfer fee. All they got to pay is a big signing on fee to him, and they got their man. But he definitely wants to go to Manchester City. But as I said, I understand why United would want to make a bid for him, because it makes sense, like Mourinho said, to try and go after world-class players. But then it completely blows out of the water your guys' theory about the open checkbook, because you've already got so many players at your club, including Mkhitaryan.
Yeah, well, we've got a lot we need to get rid of.
And you're willing now to go and buy another player, right? Alexis Sanchez, and both of you are sitting there and saying we're not even sure where we play him, but he's a world-class player, so we need to get him in.
I didn't say that, no.
He's making it up.
He's saying what he wants to hear, mate.
I'll tell you what though, 50 million quid for, you know, we're talking about 35, 25, whatever. What I would say about Sanchez, 50 million pounds is cheap for Sanchez. I mean, you know, City or United, it's a cheap price. He is, you know.
He's not going to go for 50 million pounds now, because he's only got a few months left.
What would he be worth? What would he be worth if you'd signed him up to a contract, a proper contract, and you hadn't let it slip? He's probably worth 60, 70, 80 million even at 29, isn't he?
I personally think even at 29, we would have been looking at getting about 90 for him.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my personal opinion. So the fact that, you know, the fact that we've left it so late, you know, the values. That's why you have to get these deals done early, because, you know, if you don't and it runs down, then the value is no longer with the club. The value's with the player. The player says, you know, give me a signing on fee, a big signing on fee. I'll come over to you. So listen, as I said, I don't think he's going to end up at United. I think it is going to be City, but I understand why United, you know, have made the bid. He's quality. He's absolute quality. He's a brilliant player. He really is. You know what I mean? You know, the only thing I say about him, you know, when he does play for Arsenal, he kind of unbalances the team, because I don't think he's really a winger. I always think that's not his best position, because he comes inside every single time. He never gives the team any width. So that would be the only thing. I say if United are looking to bring him in because of saying he's a winger, he's not really a winger, I don't think.
He's going to get to the byline, cross the ball.
Yeah, he unbalances the team in a way, but then he's such a brilliant player that he could come in and score 20 goals. So, you know, you can't turn players like that down.
What about Ozil, Robbie?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. What about Ozil? Because I'd probably prefer Ozil for what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
Definitely.
Ozil would suit your team better because of the creativity. Again, with Ozil, who knows? I mean, what I heard is that Ozil, out of the two of them, is the one that's like may stay. You know what I mean? He's thinking about staying. You know, he loves it in London. Arsenal fans love him. They're offering him major money. But then you see, the thing is, I don't think Ozil's going to tell them what he's doing till the end of the season.
Yeah.
Because as I said, if I was in Ozil's position, I wouldn't sign anything now. I'd wait until the end of the season. Again, as I said, they hold all the cards. You can go at the end of the season on a free, big signing on fee, or if you see that there's going to be changes and that, then you get signed up to a new contract, big wages every week. So I don't think he's in any hurry to do what he's going to decide. But I think Arsenal kind of more hopeful that he will stay. Let's see what happens. It's a mess, Arsenal.
You lot are actually
Oh
a
my
champion.
God, man, I'll tell you know what, right? Transfer windows should be a time of looking forward and joy and things like that, right? But when you're an Arsenal fan, man, you get to this time of and you dread. You like and it is really disappointing. And you know, it's all because of our board, and it was our own doing. It really is a shambles. But listen, we got to take it on the chin. We got to just try and do what we can do, man. And, you know, I mean, what can we do?
I'll tell you what, Robbie.
It's not down to the fans.
I've got a good idea for you, because you've done a great job with Arsenal Fan TV, and you know, obviously you've got a lot of love for Pep. I mean, have you ever thought maybe they ain't got a fan channel? You could start a Man City one.
Listen, I'm an Arsenal fan till the day I die, mate. You know what I mean? Listen, you got to support your team, man, through the tough times. You know what I mean? You guys have had some real tough times. I mean, I didn't see you defecting over to Man City when Moyes was there.
No.
You still stuck it out, didn't you? You know what I mean? You got to stick it out. Listen, who knows, man? I mean, you never know. We might do what you did last year and win the Europa League and the League Cup.
Do you know what? I was just going to ask you about that, yeah? Because it's very, very funny how things change. Because all you DT troops were laughing at us last year, saying, "Oh, Flex, you win that Mickey Mouse Cup. You ain't done nothing." And look now, all your fans. I mean, I heard DT say the other week, "What's he resting players for? You know, we need to play them in the Europa League. We need to win that." Look how the tables turn. Is that now your main focus? Is it your main focus?
Listen, I didn't say you was in the Mickey Mouse Cup.
I remember last year when we played at the Emirates and we lost. I said, resting our players for that Europa League. You said, "Well, we want to win that second-rate cup." Well,
listen, I didn't say it was a Mickey Mouse Cup, but I will be again. I'm a guy. I stand by my words, and I'm honest here. I didn't say it was a Mickey Mouse Cup, but if I'm being honest, it is a Mickey Mouse Cup. The League Cup is a Mickey Mouse Cup.
That you now want to win.
Of course you want to win every trophy you're in, just like you lot wanted to do.
So why are you not laughing at us for being there?
I personally think the Europa League is a Mickey Mouse Cup. Any cup where you've got teams that have been knocked out of a competition and they can drop into it and then compete to win it is a Mickey Mouse Cup. But we're in it, and anything we're in, we got to try and win. As simple as that. That's all we got. So, you know, but I'll be honest with you.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Beggars can't be choosers. But the Europa League is a Mickey Mouse Cup. Even more, I think, Mickey Mouse than the League Cup. Because how can you, I always say it, how can you have a competition where you're rewarding losers?
Yeah, it doesn't. If you do win it, it doesn't mean you're the best in Europe. It doesn't really mean much. It's just nice to get into the Champions League, and for others,
we don't even defend it. We won't even defend it, do we?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great day out in Lyon, and now obviously it's the added value of getting into the Champions League. Because remember, let's have it right. You guys wouldn't have got nowhere near the Champions League.
Yeah, spot on.
100%. That's what I said.
Had it not been for the Europa League. Had it not been
100%.
for the Europa League, but the Europa League is a flawed trophy, because if it was just a trophy where you just went through as it is and won it, it'd be a good trophy, but it's flawed. How can you have teams like Borussia Dortmund, who fail miserably in the Champions League, now coming into this and having a second chance to win a trophy?
Are you just saying that because they're going to come up against you and knock you out?
I've said this every single year since that competition has been in effect. I've said they ruined it the minute they started doing that. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke, but we're in it. So we're in it.
You can win it.
I think we can win it, yeah. I do think we can win it.
We're in it to win it.
You know, we're in it to win it, man. And we're not bad at winning them sort of knockout. You know, remember, we won the FA Cup 3 out of the last 4 years. So we're not bad at that. The other night, every single person said we got no chance against Chelsea. I said, listen, they're forgetting that we're pretty decent at these trophies. And we're still in. I personally think we're going to win that as well.
So if you do the double, then if you do the double, yeah. If you win the Carabao Cup and the Europa League, is that a successful season?
Can we call that a double?
Of course it's not. You called it a double last season, didn't you?
I didn't. I just said we won 2 trophies.
You called it a double. Mourinho called it a double.
Yeah, he did. To be fair, yeah.
Mourinho called it a double. Well, listen.
Called it a treble with the Community Shield.
It won't be. For me, the mark of a successful season is what you do in the league, and we've been poor in the league, right? So it won't be a success, you know. Or if you don't do well in the league, if you win the Champions League, it's successful. We can't win the Champions League; we're not in it, and we're doing poorly in the league. So it'd be a poor unless we, I don't know, from now till the end of the season, went on an unbelievable run and finish well in the league, and then we won the Europa League. Then maybe, but at the moment, it's a very unsuccessful season. It's a mess off the field. It's a mess on the field. It's not good. But let's see what happens in the second half of the season, man.
What's the chances that that Wenger could actually go at the end of this season? I know he signed a 2-year extension, but if it really goes wrong for him, i.e., you get knocked out the Europa, you lose the semi-final against Chelsea, you've got nothing to play for, Alexis goes, turmoil. Is there chances that
doom and gloom, you are in it. Flex. Listen,
I'm just throwing it out there.
There's lots of rumours that he's going to go at the end of the season, but who knows? There was lots of rumours he was going to go at the end of last season. He's still in. Listen, he's the Teflon Don, man. You know what I mean? Every time people think Wenger's on his way out, he pulls something out of the bag. You know what I mean? It's the FA Cup or Europa League or where. We'll have to wait and see what happens at the end of the season. Who knows? Who knows? I really wouldn't want to say what's going to happen.
Ancelotti linked. If he did go, throwing that out, what would you think of that?
I mean, I'd be happy with that because I just feel that it's no matter what people think of Arsene Wenger, he's been at Arsenal for many years. He's done, you know, overall he's done a great job, and it's going to be very, very big boots to fill. It's like when Fergie left United, and if you get it wrong,
not quite,
you can go backwards, you know, way backwards. And we saw what happened with Moyes and Van Gaal. So I think at Arsenal they're very wary of that, and I think somebody of Ancelotti's experience to come in and steady the ship for a couple of years until you get in the new Pep Guardiola, whoever he is or whatever.
Who's that going to be? Sean Dyche?
Anyone with an open checkbook, really.
No, Sean Dyche is the new Mourinho.
Hey Robbie, talking about Mickey Mouse trophies, what about Mkhitaryan? Would you take him at Arsenal?
You know what? I personally think Mkhitaryan's a very good player, but he's been kind of, I don't know. He's not really fitted in with Mourinho, has he? Because Mourinho, I don't know what it is with Mourinho. He doesn't seem to like those ultra flair players. I think Mkhitaryan is a good player. But the thing is, we've got so many of those type of players already at Arsenal. I'd rather us go for like defenders or holding midfielder. But I think he's a good player. You know what? I'll tell you a story, actually. I've got a friend, he's a very good friend. He's a Dortmund season ticket holder. And he said to me that when Mkhitaryan first came to Dortmund, his first season, he was very poor. But he goes, after that, he was absolutely brilliant. He was world class. So, you know, maybe he's that sort of player that he needs to kind of, you know, he needs a lot of love first and needs to kind of blend in first before you see the best of him. And maybe United are kind of jumping the gun on him because he is a very talented player. I don't know what's gone wrong there. But that's what I'm saying. The fact that United, after signing him this season, can be looking to offload him already shows that you guys have kind of got the similar sort of open checkbook that City have got as well. Because no other team, Granit Xhaka's at Arsenal, he's been poor. But we just cannot afford. The way
But you can afford it. That's why you're angry, because you can afford it.
No. But what it is with players like that, when they come to Arsenal, they have to try and make them work. They can't just bin them after 6 months.
Mkhitaryan's been here 18 months, to be fair.
That's why I kind of refute that when you say that, you know, with United have got a lot of money. You guys have been spending big. So, you know, I
yeah, but we earn our money.
Huh?
All our money's from our fans. It's not from an oil tanker.
Yeah, no, well, that I do agree with you. That I do agree, and that's why.
Thanks. Finally, we got somewhere.
That's why. No, listen. I agree. Listen, the City thing is. Listen, football nowadays really is a joke. In that, you know, you look at PSG.
It makes me sick. It makes me sick.
They're buying it. Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
Chelsea as well.
I don't like it.
Others, you know what I mean? They just buy. Why have Chelsea bought Ross Barkley? What for? Look how many players they got guys out on loan that they could have bring back to fill that position. Why do they feel the need to buy Ross Barkley? You know
the best rivalry we've had in my lifetime was Arsenal, because it was it was proper. It was proper clubs, proper managers, level playing field. Let's go. Chelsea, we beat them, but it wasn't level. And City, it's not level. It's not a level playing field. It's not real.
If I'm being honest, one of the things that you did say, which is true, when it comes to the money, is that United do earn their money, and I respect them for that. That, you know, I mean, that, you know, they got the biggest capacity, they've got the biggest following in the world, and they earn that money legit. It's not just like oil money or this money, or, you know. Whereas you look at teams like Chelsea, they haven't. To me, he's pumped loads of money in, and at the end of the day, if you pump loads of money in, you can get the very best. Simple as. You know, so I think any club pumping in that level of money, you know, you're going to win something eventually, because you're like, pumping, it don't work, or I'm going to put more in. It don't work, I'm going to put more in. Till eventually you pull it off. So, like, they haven't really, you know, and I think that's what's kind of wrong with football at the moment, in that, you know, the fact that even with players, you know, I mean, you look at Southampton and all the great players they've had over the years, and they just can't hold on to any of them, because, you know, other clubs will just come and just take them. Just, you know, even if a club, Van Dijk had like just signed a 4 or 5 year deal at Southampton. He's gone. So, but it's the world we're in. It's the sport that we are in. That's the way it is. We just have to ride with it. I just wish that our club, Arsenal, you know what I mean, we've got 2 guys that are billionaires, and instead of them working together to try and do a similar thing like what City are doing, they just fight against each other, and that's why it's that's another story.
I must just come back on something, because I just see it in the live comments. I do think Mkhitaryan would fit in really well at Arsenal, because he doesn't like a 50-50 challenge, and he's mentally quite weak. But you know, maybe Wenger could turn him around. You know, I just think physically and mentally he doesn't suit the Premier League, much like Kagawa. But I remember a lot of Arsenal fans saying we didn't do Kagawa the right way, and at Arsenal he would have suited us really well. But interesting. Very interesting.
It's interesting that you want Ozil, because, you know.
Yeah, but he's played with Mourinho before.
He's not going to go in for no 50-50 tackles either.
No,
I mean, so you know, he's not that type of player. And I think, you know, we got to remember, like, guys like Mkhitaryan, you don't buy them to go in for 50-50 tackles. You buy them to create stuff. But I just think Mourinho, I don't know, he's never, them ultra creative players just never seem to sit well with him, because
I can't put my finger on the Mkhitaryan thing, because when he first signed, I was over the moon, because he's a brilliantly technically gifted player. He's very creative. He's quick. You know, he's got a great touch on him, and he can finish. He can assist. He's a good player. And to see him kind of the demise of him, I'll be honest, I'm still undecided as to whether it's Mourinho's way of playing that's made him just absolutely regress, or whether his heart's not in it. Because to be fair, when he first come, he was out of the team until like October, like last year, and then he came good in the middle to the end part of the season. Then he started well this season, and then he's just completely dropped off. So that would suggest to me that it's more a Mkhitaryan thing, like he can't find his best form when he really needs to. And we're Man United, unfortunately, we're not Dortmund, and you know, we're gonna. The stakes are higher. If it ain't going right, you're gone.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The hour has whizzed by. We've loved having you on, Robbie. we'd love to have you back on, because I think we went into something we never expected to about Man City, and I would love to revisit that properly. But we are talking Alexis Sanchez. You feel he's going to go to City in closing?
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to go to City. I think he's got his heart set on Manchester City, and as I said, I just think that it's not just the money; it's the pull of the fact that you're almost guaranteed to win something going there, and also it's the Pep Guardiola factor. And I think that does carry a lot of weight now with any footballer. Any footballer out there would love to play for Pep, and that's why he wants to go.
Flex, yes, I think we spoke about it a couple of days ago. You felt it was a no. Have you changed that theory at all?
No, I mean, the only thing that I've changed my mind on is that there's actually real concrete offers there. I think that's there. Everyone can see that now. A couple of days ago, even up to yesterday, I was like, don't even know if we're even in. I think that's just paper talk. But there's definitely interest there. So I changed my mind on that. But in terms of his destination, I just can't see it, man. I just can't see it. Obviously, I'd love to see it. But he wanted to go to City from the summer. I can't see him just doing a U-turn. And a little bit of that, it pains me to say it, but I think he would prefer to play for Pep in this current time. In the moment we're in and the moment that they're in, he's 29, he's got one more big move. I think he's going to City.
Yeah, I was 20% yesterday. I'm 30% today, only because Wenger's interview, Mourinho's interview, it's clear that United are interested. The press, nobody's come out and said it's nonsense. I think it's dangerous from United's point of view, because I agree with what Robbie and Flex have said, but you know, I thought he was going in August. He clearly wants to go to City. I think if he does come to United, I don't buy any of this. It's about money. I mean, where are we in the world? I mean, I saw Gelen Balaguer saying he'll either go to City or United for money. I mean, since when have United been the club that's money? City are the money, United are the proper club. And Alexis Sanchez is not a slave. He will go where he wants to go, like Robbie said. He can sit in at Arsenal till May, take a 10 million signing on fee and go to City. Wherever he goes, he'll go where he wants to go, and wherever he goes, I'll put my hands up like everybody else tonight and say, look, he's a top class player. If City get him, what a statement. End of story. Yeah,
I think so. I think they'll get him.
Robbie, really appreciate you coming on. You can go and hide in your cave again now and hope it's not a nightmare. It's not real.
I want to go home, mate. I want to go home and rest. No, next time I come on, I'll make sure I'm in a better, you know, in the studio or something where you can actually see me. I apologise for that, but yeah, I'll just be driving back from Heathrow, so just pulled over to do this. But thanks for having me on.
Well, we'd love to have you on for the. We'd love to have that City debate seriously, because there are no City fans. There are no City fans, so you know you can be a sort of neutral City sort of observer.
I ain't representing City. I represent Arsenal. Stop getting bitter about City, right? It's got nothing to do with me. You don't have to cope with it. You don't have to deal with the noisy neighbours.
Well, you got it with Spurs, haven't you?
Well, they ain't taken over, but your noisy neighbours have taken over. You got to admit it. They have at the moment. So, but listen, yeah, no, whenever you're ready, mate. It's always a pleasure to come on.
No, loved it. And obviously, as I know with a lot of the viewers on the United Stand, I see it all the time, Arsenal Fan TV and chill. And we'll look forward to the meltdown when Sanchez signs for United.
Yeah, listen, mate, what about, I look forward to when Mourinho gets sacked. I got my popcorn every week, mate, with your fans, mate. Trust me. They're in meltdown over Mourinho, man.
The meltdown will be in a couple of weeks when you lose at home to Chelsea and you're out the Carabao Cup.
You've won a lot of fans tonight, Robbie. There are quite a few United fans who don't like Mourinho, and I've been reading the comments and they're like, yeah, go for it, Robbie. He's speaking a lot of sense. You know, there are people who don't like Mourinho. I don't get it, but there you go.
Yeah, Mark, I just saw a bus pass. I think he's on it.
He's on the fire now. Look, he's got an audience. He's gonna go with it. Anyway, really appreciate it. You know, this is what football's all about, isn't it? It's a bit of banter. And Robbie, thanks for coming on, and Flex, thanks for dropping on as well.
That's all right, man. As always, nice. It's a pleasure. We go again Monday. The players have had their nice warm weather holiday / training camp in Dubai, so we expect to see an amazing performance against Stoke, because if not, I'll be ripping them for going on holiday.
And thanks to all the live comments. I know we normally interact a lot more, but we've got 3 very opinionated people on tonight about a really big topic. I'll be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. That will be a live comments interaction show. I had a big list of stuff I wanted to say. Couldn't even say it. Might do it in the morning, but you've got to go with it when it's live. And it's been a great show, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. If you are new to the United Stand, make sure you subscribe. Drop a like on the video. Lots going on. And I'm genuinely excited, whether we get Sanchez or not. Maybe even Ozil. Maybe we can go back for that. But I am excited. We thought we were going to be doing what Arsenal do, trying to buy people like Malcolm. And we're trying to go a bit higher than that. Let's see what happens. But enough of that. Thanks, everyone. Really enjoyed it. Start of the weekend. Enjoy it. And we'll see you back tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And we're done, lads. A fantastic show. Whiz by, and really appreciate it, Robbie.
Yeah,
and
nice. All right, I'll go.